welcome to our book flower making tutorial. For this tutorial you'll need an old book, some scissors, some double-sided tape, florist wire and something round like a knitting needle or pen. To start off with, remove 4 pages from your book just by tearing them out very carefully by the spine. So there's your 4 pages. So now you want to fold them into a triangle shape by taking a small flat end and matching it up to the long end, and that should leave you with a triangle and then the end of it with a rectangle. We want to cut the rectangle portion off so that you're left with 4 squares. You can get rid of the rectangle pieces, we won't be using those. Take 2 of the squares and fold them in half again along the line, and then half again so you end up with a small triangle, and then in half again so you've folded it 3 times. Now along the long end of the triangle you want to start cutting a semicircle or a dome in the top, and this is going to form the shape of your petals. And do that again with the other 2 squares. Now just open the pieces up and you should have 4 flower shapes. Your petals won't be perfectly even, but that's okay. Now we're going to take one of those flower shapes. It should have 8 petals around the edges, and we're going to cut them out to make smaller petals. So we need to cut out 1 petal to start with, just by cutting along the lines and pulling that single petal out. And then we do that again, but we do it cutting 2 petals this time. And again on the 3rd flower we cut 3 petals. And on the last one we're just going to cut it straight in half, and that'll give us 2 sets of 4 petals. We'll only need 1 of those sets, so put the other one aside for the next flower you make. Okay, so now we're going to need our double-sided tape and some scissors. And we're just going to cut a little bit of tape off, and we're going to stick it to one side of each of the petal sets. Just on the edge like that. We do that for each of the petals. For the 2 petals, we only need a small piece of tape just to put in the corner there, because we're not going to be folding that the same as the others, so it only needs to be a little one. And for the single petal we don't need any tape at all. So now we peel off the backing part of the tape and we start folding our petals over. So you just overlap the 2 edge petals and stick it together with that tape. Press a little bit firmly so it sticks down. And you do this for each petal set. Just overlap the 2 edge petals and push firmly on it so that it sticks down. For the one with your 2 petals, don't overlap them too much. We're not doing what we did with the other ones. Just pinch the bottom of the petal a little bit to form a point, and then just slightly overlap them so that you can still see the 2 petals. Now it's time to add your stem, so you'll need your floral wire. Just cut off a length of tape and we'll just sit that aside for a second. And then with your floral wire, you want to bend to make a hook at the end of the floral wire. Now you can leave it like it is, but that can pierce the paper when you add it on. So I like to actually make a loop with it. So if you've got some pinches there somewhere, you can just loop it around. And then you wrap the double-sided tape around the edge of that loop. Now that's going to help hold the stem to the flower, and it won't fall out the bottom later on. Okay, so now you just grab your single petal and you wrap the single petal around that wire, sticking it to the double-sided tape. Okay, so now we cut some more double-sided tape, just a small length, and then we'll wrap that around the base of the petal that you've just attached to the wire. That will help hold that petal onto the wire, and it will also help stick to the next petal that you're going to add. Okay, so now you take your next petal, it should be the one that looks like two petals, and you just stick the wire very gently through the middle and pull slightly, not too hard, just slightly on the stem, and that'll help get the tape to stick to both of those petals. And now you repeat this for each petal set, just putting some tape on the base of the petal and then pulling the petal through the next size. Now you can use glue for this, but I find that the double-sided tape isn't as messy. So just open that up, push it through the centre and pull down slightly to get it to stick. Before sticking down your final 3 petal sets, these ones are a bit larger, so you can actually make them into a full blooming rose. So all you need to do is curl the edges. So this is where you get your knitting needle and you just roll the edges around the outside of the knitting needle and then pull the knitting needle straight out. And that just gives it a nice little curl on the edges. So again, just wrap them around, giving them a nice curl. There you go. Now you see that nice curl on the edges of the petals? So now we'll just continue doing what we were doing and sticking the tape on the bottom of the base of the petals and sticking those petals through the next ones. There's your finished flower. I hope you enjoyed making these flowers today. Please join us again, and thank you for watching this DIY video by Gentle Beauty.